What's up, YouTube? Block News TV. You in here with another exclusive one, family. If y'all been kind of keeping up with these stories, you see how these videos actually getting put out behind. I'm sorry, family. I have slow internet connection. I'm thinking that's why it's taking me forever to upload these videos. So that's something I'm definitely about to fix and get higher speeds. But nonetheless, even though my stories may be coming out later than what they're supposed to be, if you still follow these stories, you still see and get the gist of what the media has been putting out there. And today, family, this is nothing different, but this time it's dealing with a little girl that was allegedly there inside the classroom when it all happened, family. So let's get right into this.
Okay, to the family of 11-year-old Mia Cirio, who was wounded in the 4th grade classroom.
And so this girl was 11. Now, if you've been keeping track, the news reporter said the people who had got shot was between the age of 8 and 10. So now we have between the ages of 8 and 11 in a 4th grade class.
Who wants the world to know what she saw, what she lived through. But Mia is so scared of men right now because of what happened that she only...
So now the little girl is so scared of men because of what happened that now all of a sudden she's only going to speak to women. Now, family, here's the problem with that and why I kind of don't believe it. So somebody goes into school and shoots, and all of a sudden now you're afraid of all men. Let me tell you something, family. I know a lot of y'all going to feel harsh about this, but you know what? I'm not on YouTube to get a check. I'm on YouTube to spread the truth and speak my word, right? A little girl like that means that she has racism inside of her. Well, Todd, what do you mean by that? Well, let me tell you. It's just like to say that little girl had a friend that was raped by, let's just say, a black guy, even though black guys aren't really known to rape like that. But let's just say that she was raped, or she knew a friend that was raped by a black guy. She would then be like, oh, I'm scared of all black people. I don't like all black people for what one person did. So let me tell you something, guys. With that type of spirit, me personally, I don't feel sorry. I don't really believe this little girl anyways, but nonetheless, I don't feel sorry for her either because she definitely has racism flowing through her blood. Now let's continue.
She feels comfortable speaking with women. She also did not want to go on camera. She did agree to speak with my partner, CNN producer Nora Noose. Nora, you were in with Mia and her mother. I want to make clear her mother was there the whole time. What did she tell you?
So this, once again, another person who's seen something who is refusing to do an interview, family. This is why I don't believe it, but let's continue.
11-year-old Mia Cirio was in that 4th grade classroom that we've heard so much about with Miss Garcia and Miss Mireles. She said they were watching Lilo and Stitch because it was the end of the school year. They'd finished their lessons. And she said one of her teachers got an email that there was a shooter in the building and went...
Family. She just said that her teacher got an email that there was a shooter in the building. Let me tell you something, family. First of all, so somebody had to do the email, write out the email, send it obviously to every teacher, because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't just send it to one teacher, right? So you would send these emails out to every teacher. Do you know how long that takes just to send an email, even to say there's an active shooter in the school? How long that would take for her to send out all these emails to the staff members to let them know that there is a active shooter in the school that passed up the front office and just went straight to the classrooms? And then another thing too, while I'm on all of this right now, man, for her to have checked that email that fast also and seen it, that doesn't seem right to me. So you mean to tell me they quickly put the email out and she quickly seen the email and quickly reacted on it? Come on, family. Like I said, man, these stories are not adding up.
Went to the door and he was right there. And they made eye contact.
The shooter made eye contact with the
teacher. And then he shot out the window in the door.
So this guy came up to the classroom, made eye contact with the teacher, and shot out the windows and the door. Why did he have to do that? He couldn't just open the door? And they say he shot out the door. If he shot out the door, first of all, I don't know how you shoot out a door, but I get what she's trying to say. He shot the door open, right? So let's say this is true, family. So he shot the door open. So how in the world could the cops not get inside there again? How was he barricaded again? If he shot the doorknob off the door, then that means there's the door, you can just push the door open at this point. There's nothing holding the door back. But we're supposed to believe them because it's on the news. Man, let's continue.
And then Mia says it just happened also fast. He backed the teacher into the classroom. And he made eye contact with the teacher again, looked her right in the eye and said, good night.
Oh.
Shot her.
he said goodnight before he shot her.
Good night.
Man.
And then it happened pretty fast after that as well.
Oh,
He started
man.
open firing in the classroom.
Mm.
He hit the other teacher,
Mm.
a lot of Mia's friends.
Mm.
At that point, Mia was hit by fragments of the bullets.
Mm.
You could even see them yesterday. I mean, on her back, on her shoulders, the back of her head.
Interesting.
The shooter then, she says, went into the adjoining classroom.
Yeah, so he went through this door to the adjoining classroom.
They never mentioned that.
Mia could hear screams.
Mm.
She heard a lot more gunfire.
Mm.
And then she said she heard music. She thinks it was the gunman that put it on.
What?
He started blasting sad music. And I
Ah!
asked her, like, what was that?
What?
Kind of music? What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
She just said it sounded like I want people to die music.
Family, listen, they're selling this at the store right now. I promise I'm not buying it. This is spoiled milk right here, family. Once again, do I personally believe an incident really happened? Yes, I do. Do I believe the news? Heck no, I don't believe the news. So you mean to tell me, so now all of a sudden there's an adjacent door. So there's a door inside the classroom, which I can't say that isn't true, right? So there's another door inside the classroom that leads to another classroom that he was easily able to open up, go inside of another classroom. Now he's in 2 classrooms. Y'all never said that. But now he's in 2 classrooms doing it. And then I have this question as well. If he can go inside of 2 classrooms, what stopped him from going inside of other classrooms? Why did he just stop there? A lot of questions to be answered.
She said she heard music. She said it sounded like I want.
Oh, and then the music, family. Let me pause. I almost forgot about the music, family. The music. So you mean to tell me this guy who got into an argument with his grandmother at home, shot his grandmother, drove to the school, crashed in the ditch, got out the school, shooting at the police, had 2 ARs, but then it turned into 1 AR. He gets out of school, he goes inside the classroom, all this type of stuff. And in some way, he has some type of CD. People don't even carry CDs around anymore. But he has some type of CD or something where he's able to display and play this music while he's killing people. Man, family, if this story is true, which I don't believe what they're saying. I believe if something really happened. I don't believe what they're saying. But if what they're saying is actually true, man, then he definitely playing this stuff out. Let's go.
Die music. What did Mia do then?
So she had a friend next to her that she was pretty sure was already dead and was laying on the ground bleeding out. And she put her hands in her friend's blood.
Wow.
And then smeared it, she said, all over her body. She wanted to look like she was dead.
Okay.
She was scared that the gunman was going to come back through that adjoining door back into the classroom. And she wanted to be able to play dead.
She also told you that she called 911.
Yeah, so after she smeared the blood all over her body, she and a friend went and were able to take the phone off of one of the teachers who had already been killed. And they called 911 and they were up.
So now it's not just that girl, it's that girl and another friend now that somehow, like she's trying to make it seem, got the cell phone from the teacher. Well, it's not somehow, they just got the cell phone from the teacher, right? And it says they called 911. Well, 911 has been notified. 911 has been called. But let's continue.
Actually able to make contact with the dispatcher. And I talked to a dispatcher for a little while and told them what was going on inside. And Mia kept telling me that she kept saying, we're in trouble, like, please come, we're in trouble.
One of the interesting things you told me is that
So Mia got blood from a friend that she thought was dead and smeared it all over her body to lay down the fake dead. And in the midst of her faking like she's dead, her and somebody else gets up and makes a phone call, but she's supposed to be pretending like she's dead. But they're making a phone call to the police. The police aren't telling them that the operator, isn't telling them that they already have police on the scene. They're just talking to the girl while the shooter can come back in, hear them talking and kill them. It's not making sense.
Mia said to you that she felt like it all lasted for 3 hours.
Yeah, she was like, oh yeah, I was in there for 3 hours. And her mom said, well, sweetheart, I think it was closer to 1 hour, but I'm sure it felt that way.
And what did Mia
Where's the
think
mother at?
the police were doing during this time?
She said she thought the police just hadn't gotten there yet, that somehow they just weren't there yet. And she said, she'd been pretty stoic up until this point in the interview. And this was actually when she started getting emotional and started crying. She said, I heard the grown-ups later say the police were outside and that they weren't coming in. And she got emotional talking to me about this and said,
That's the only part of this story that she's saying that sounds believable to me. Was I'm talking about the police are outside, because the police was definitely outside. They did not enter inside the elementary school at all, and they were actually walking outside the elementary school, busting windows. So this part of the story, I definitely believe. This sounds very true. But let's continue.
Said, why didn't they come in? Why didn't they save us? Why the police were outside? Like, she just like couldn't. It was clear in her 11-year-old brain. I mean, in my brain, why they wouldn't come in and help and save her.
So again,
they were scared.
Spent some time with her and her mother. She's obviously just been through the worst thing, hopefully, that she'll ever go through in her entire life. How did she seem to you? How did she look to you?
Honestly, not great. She seems completely traumatized. Physically, she's mostly okay. She has these bullet fragments all over the back of her shoulders and her back and the back of her head. She said overnight a lot of her hair fell out in just kind of big clumps from where the bullet fragments had hit.
Wow.
So she's bummed about that. But just completely traumatized. And her parents are trying to get her some kind of therapy help. And they'll probably have.
I thought they had free therapy help up at the school that they said that they was going to be having for all of the students. But all of a sudden now her mother has to go pay for therapy. Nah, fam.
Have to drive her to San Antonio for that. And so they're actually starting a GoFundMe page to pay specifically for that therapy cost. She said she keeps seeing the bodies on the ground. And so that therapy is going to be really important. So that GoFundMe is on the screen.
So you mean to tell me that this was a mass school shooting that's going on, made national news? You guys said that she's going to have therapy counselors at the school for the students, but now all of a sudden you're not going to have them. And she has to, the little girl's mother has to go pay for the therapy classes all the way in San Antonio, to the point where, and she can't afford it because she has to go do a GoFundMe page. Listen, y'all, family, like I say, family, if everything that they've been saying is true, this has to be the worst messed up scenario and story I think I've ever heard. Let's continue.
I mean, she's been through so much. She saw her teacher killed before her eyes. She saw her friends killed before her eyes. I simply can't imagine. And then one other thing you told me that just gives us a sense of her state of mind right now. You have an alarm on your cell phone. Your alarm went off accidentally on your cell phone while you were talking to her. What happened?
I felt so bad. I mean, it just was an accident, and she clearly was kind of triggered by that. And her mom.
Boy, I'm not believing that. Okay, so she just has a random alarm on while she's at work. What did she set the alarm for? For her time for the interview, like what was the alarm set for the time that you were supposed to be at work for? And then it goes off and the girl just gets so scared. They're going to try to play this traumatized thing. And once again, if this is a real little girl that is getting scared, I feel bad the fact that she had to go through that, but at the same time, I don't feel bad that the fact that the little girl is racist. It has a racist type of spirit on her. I'm going to say it, family. The one thing about me is I'm going to keep it 100. It doesn't matter if you're an adult, a little child, whatever. I don't bash people. I don't, do that type of stuff. But I will say stuff of how I see it, right? I will say how I see it. I don't look at that other type of stuff like you guys and be like, oh, I'm not going to say it because it's a little girl. That's not me. That's not me. I will say it if I see it. Like I said, I won't bash nobody. I don't do that. I don't just keep talking about people. I don't do that. But if I see a flaw or error or something inside of somebody's characteristic, doesn't matter how old they are, I will bring it out. Let's continue.
Said, that's been happening a lot. They were at a car wash yesterday and went to vacuum out the car, and it completely set her off. She's not sleeping right now.
While the mom is going to vacuum out the car, she's tripping out.
The whole interview, she brought a blanket with her, and the whole interview, she just was like covering herself in this blanket, and it was hot. But it felt like she just was trying to keep herself covered.
And just to be clear,
not trying to be funny either, man, but this stuff is true. Once again, it's sad for any child to have to go through that type of stuff, seeing people die, hearing gunshots. But people in a lot of these neighborhoods, these so-called ghettos or hoods or projects, whatever you want to call them, they hear gunshots all the time. They've seen people die. They don't get as traumatized, man. It's almost like you have to be strong in that environment when this type of stuff is going on. This little girl sees it at school and she just, alarm goes off, she's tripping. She's with her mom and her mom is vacuuming out the car. Not like just a sound coming out of nowhere. She knows her mom's about to vacuum this car, and she's tripping out. She's tripping out. She's scared of men. And it's crazy, it's just this one girl like this too. Why is everybody else not like this? I don't know. But it's one girl happens to be like this. But let's finish this up.
She really wanted to talk. I mean, she didn't want to talk to a man, but she wanted to get her story out there. Why?
She kept saying that she wants to try to prevent this from this happening to other kids. She thought that if she talked to someone, if she did an interview, that maybe people would realize what it was really like to be in a school shooting.
She didn't do the interview. You did the interview.
And other kids wouldn't get hurt. And I kept saying, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this interview. Like,
she didn't.
This is up. You're in charge. This is your decision. But she kept saying, no, I really want to do this.
All right. Nora News, thank you for speaking with her.
Well, family, that's it on that. But once again, like I said, hey, if this story is true, once again, like I said, it's sad in any situation. And I do believe that there really were children that really did lose their lives up there, which to me is even sadder because I don't believe what the news is saying. What I mean by that is I believe there's something else behind this whole story to the point where the news can't even get their story correct, to the point where they're talking to people, but they're not interviewing these people. They're doing personal interviews with no cameras. And then they're coming back in front of the camera to tell us what someone has said. And I'm not buying this, family. But nonetheless, like I said, I'm going to keep y'all updated on it. Like I said, I came to the conclusion I do believe this was a real incident that happened. I still don't believe what the news is giving us. I don't believe the shooter is who they say the shooter is. And I'm going to tell y'all why in another video. But with that being said, hey, family, hey, like always, peace and blessings, one love, shalom, and I'm gone.